Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Branch, the art teacher. And what we're going to do today is our first project. Now, so far, you've seen a video about the line song, and you heard me reading about the lines. Let me go ahead and share my screen so that we can look at the lines again. All right, so here we had straight lines. They go up and down and side to side. We have curved lines. They help us make circles. Diagonal lines, they go right to left and left to right. Wavy lines, they can be big or they can be kind of small. Same thing with zigzag. They can be really sharp looking or they can be wide looking. And scallop lines and dotted lines. Dots can be little or they can be big. And dash lines, same thing. They can be little dashes or they can be big dashes. And dashes are like broken straight lines. And then we have spirals. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can show you the next part. I'm going to switch to my camera that is above my head. All right, so you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. You need your water basin and your paintbrush. And your water basin needs to have some water in it. Not a lot, just a little bit. You need your temper cake palette. And you need your cleaning cloth, which we call it in art, we call it a blotter. We can use this for many things. All right, so first things first, we need to fold, and you need your white crayon. All right. So first things first, we're going to fold our paper in half. I'm gonna move this paper so you can see how to fold. So we bring the 2 edges together and we press our hand down and we slide up and down. When we fold the paper, it makes a line. We have a straight line. And we're gonna fold the paper again. And we have another straight line. When we open the paper all the way up, we have 2 lines, one vertical and one horizontal. And we have 4 sections. Let me bring my camera in just a little closer so you can see them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do this again. Let me get my other piece of paper. We're going to bring the 2 edges together. Sometimes I call this fold hamburger fold because of how wide it is. It's wide like a hamburger. We can also fold it this way, vertical or horizontal. And I like to call this fold hot dog. I just showed you some different stuff. So later, when we talk about it, we can have our hamburger and we have our hot dog fold. Hamburger, we fold the paper horizontal. Hot dog, we fold the paper vertical. So we will talk about those a lot later too. So now we need our paper and we need our white crayon. And now you must be thinking, Miss Branch, a white crayon on white paper, how is that going to work? Well, it's going to be like magic. And matter of fact, I will show you some that I've done already. We're going to draw the lines with our white crayon and then paint over it with our primary colors and our neutral color black. We're also going to make some secondary colors and another neutral color brown. We're going to orange, green, and purple. But the cool thing is, wherever we put the crayon, the wax resists, means it pushes away the paint and we can see the lines. So let me go ahead and get started with you guys. So we need one paper, and we're going to start with straight lines. Now you can make them vertical lines, or you can make them horizontal lines. Oh, we can do both. Let's do both. So let me do some vertical lines. Now I'm only going to stay in one section. And if you tilt the paper just right, you can see the line in the light, even though it's a white crayon on white paper. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a good number of lines. Let me do some horizontal ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't have as much space for horizontal. Let's see. My next one, curved lines. Curved lines are like the lines in a rainbow. So I'm going to make a curved line here in the middle. Then I'm going to make another one around it. And I'm going to keep going. My curved lines are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'll make a little curved line there because I ran out of space. There we go. So now I have my curved lines. And again, if you tilt the paper just right, you can see the lines on your paper, even though it's white crayon on white paper. So next was our diagonal lines. So I'm going to diagonal. I'm going right to left, right to left, right to left, diagonal, 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 diagonal. You know what? I can put some on top of them and go left to right, diagonal, left to right, diagonal, left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. So now we have our next line, which was wavy. Now the cool thing about wavy, you can make them big waves, or you can make them little waves, you can make them fast, you can make them slow. Waves are fun to make. So after you use all 4 sections for our straight, curved, diagonal, and wavy lines, get your other paper. So now we need to do our zigzag lines. So now let's see. Now zigzags, you can make them wide. You can make them close together. You can almost scribble them like a baby. When a baby gets a crayon, they just scribble, don't they? All right, and let's see, I'll make them a little close, far. Oh, I broke my crayon, but guess what? You can still use crayons even if you break them. I just peel back a little paper and I keep going. That's the best thing about crayons. No matter what, you can still use them. So next I have my scallop lines. Now, scallop lines, we think about fish scales and curtains and banners and all kinds of cool stuff. Now, scallop lines is like a wavy zigzag kind of combination with a curve. So you like loop, 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 loop. Oh, now we have 2 spaces left, but we have 3 lines left on our chart. We have dotted, dash, and spiral left on our chart. I know, I will put the dotted and dash together. So let me see. I'll do a vertical dot line. So make a little circle, like a little circle, make a little circle, make a little circle all in a row. And then I'll do a dash line right beside it. You can do it horizontal. I'll make big, big dots this time. And then I'll make thick dashes. Oh, you can do dotted lines diagonal. Let me see, I'm gonna do a dotted diagonal line going right to left. And I can do a dotted diagonal dash line. I'll do another one. All right, and then we're left with our spiral line. Now, a spiral line is like making a number 6, but you keep going, or a letter G. Watch, I'm just going to start making a circle, or number 6, but then I'm going to keep going in the middle. I can make little spirals, medium spirals, tiny little spirals. itsy bitsy spirals. Itsy bitsy spirals. All right, so now we're ready to paint. We're getting ready to do our magic part. But before we can paint, let's learn about our tools. This is a water basin. It holds water and your paintbrushes. Inside the water basin, there's usually some ridges. Those are for sweeping, gently sweeping your bristles back and forth. When you have your paintbrush in the water, you always wipe, never tap. If you tap it, water and paint could splash everywhere. Now, this is our paintbrush. This part is called the bristles. This is the part that touches the paper and the paint. This is called a ferrule. A ferrule is a piece of metal tube that a machine pinches it to hold stuff together. And this is the handle. So we have three parts to our paintbrush. Bristles, ferrule, handle. And we have a palette. A palette holds the paint. Some palettes you mix the paint on. Some palettes holds the paint for you. This one we can do a bit of both. Now, let me get my paper. Let me wet my brush a little. Get it wet. Wipe off some of the extra. Never tap. And now I'm going to start with my primary color, red. And I'm going to gently swish it around. Gently swish it around because my bristles can pick up some of the paint. Miss Branch likes to do the edges first. We're going to paint one of our squares, and I'm painting the edges. And you can see some of the lines are appearing already. And I'm gently sweeping. We do not press our brushes down hard. I'm going to get a little bit more water and a little bit more paint. You only let the bristles touch. You do not want to mess it and mash the bristles. If you mash the bristles, your painting will not be any fun because the bristles won't go in the direction you want them to. They'll be all over the place, like a really bad hair day. So now that I finished painting my red square, my red rectangle, sorry everyone, this is a rectangle, not a square. I am going to rinse by sweeping, wiping the extra water. And now I'm going to go to my next color. It happens to be blue. So I'm going to get some blue. And then I'm going to do the edges because Miss Branch likes to do the edges first. That way I can stay in the lines and not make too much of a mess. And now I can go back and forth, gently with the bristles, touching the paper, back and forth, back and forth. And now I have my blue rectangle done. Now I'm going to rinse. Gently sweeping, wiping the extra. And now I'm going to get my yellow primary color. And I'm just going to swish it around. And then I'm going to do my edges first. And then I can go back and forth, back and forth. Oh, I gotta get a little more paint, get a little bit more water. Get a little bit more yellow, then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now I have another square left. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse my bristles off, make sure they're clean. And now I'm going to touch the neutral color black. We're going to use the black. And I'm going to swish it around a little bit and pick up some black paint with my brush. And I'm going to do the edges first. And then I'm going to go back and forth. You see my dotted and my dashes are appearing like magic. Now, another cool thing about black paint is if you have just a little bit, it looks gray. you have a lot, it'll look really dark. So it can be light black or grayish black. It is fine, however it looks on your paper. Now I'm going to put my brush down and remove and get my other paper. Now we get to make our other colors. Now again, we'll have more projects where we get to mix our colors, but now we need the blotter when we get to the next part. So we had red, yellow, and blue. Now we're going to mix them so we can make our secondary colors. Now watch how Miss Branch does this. I'm going to take a little bit of red and I'm going to put it on the yellow and I'm going to switch it around and it's turning orange. And so now I can take my first section and I'm doing the edges. And these are my horizontal and my vertical straight lines. Now, this is very important. I can't leave that orange on my yellow because it'll make a mess. You're going to take your cloth, you're going to like put your wrap around your finger a little bit, wet your finger in your water basin just a little bit, squeeze out the extra water, and now you can wipe it clean. And your yellow is clean again. There will be yellow on your cloth. We can rinse that out later when we clean up. So I'm going to make my next color. So I made orange. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of blue on my yellow. So I'm going to get a little bit of blue. And I'm going to mix that on my yellow. And now I can pick my next color, my next rectangle. And I'm going to do the edges first. Then I can go back and forth like I'm sweeping the floor, back and forth, back and forth. And so now the next important part, I can take my cloth, I can go to another corner, and I'm going to dip it in, squeeze out the extra water, and now I can clean the green off of my yellow. So now, again, I can clean this whole rag out once I finish my painting. So now I need to make my purple color. And that's going to be my blue and my red. So, if I wanted a really dark purple, I could put some red on the blue. Or if I wanted a light purple, I could put some blue on the red. I think I'll do the blue on the red. I'll pick up a little bit of blue and I'll mix it in with my red. And now I'm going to do my edges first. It made my purple. And then I can sweep back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I can clean my bristles. We got one more space to do. We can make one more color. But before that, I have to clean my red. Because I definitely don't want that purple to dry on my red. So because I might need red again. So I dip my finger, squeeze out the rest, and then use that to clean off the purple. So now I have one corner left that's clean, but you can always use the middle. But let's see, Miss Branch is going to make one more special color for our last rectangle, and now it's brown. To make brown, you have to mix all 3 primary colors. Watch what I'm going to do first. I'm going to get a little bit of blue, and I'm going to make some green. And I'm going to rinse off my bristles in my paint, rinsing them. And now I'm going to get a little bit of red. And I'm going to mix that in with that green. And guess what I got? I made brown. So now I can take and do my edges. I'll pick up some more brown paint, and then I'm gonna sweep back and forth, back and forth. These are my diagonal lines that magically appeared. And there we have, almost forgot. I have to clean off my brown. I have one more corner. I'm going to wet it, squeeze out the extra, and wipe off the brown. So now, everyone, we're going to put our papers away and let them dry. We're going to use these papers again in our next project. So let them dry, and I'm going to switch my cameras. So we learned how to make lines today, the first element of art. We made straight lines and curved lines and diagonal and wavy. We did scallop and zigzag and dotted and dash and spiral. Those lines, you can see them everywhere. Miss Branch made herself laugh. Okay, so we're going to use these papers in our next project. So after they dry, I want you to stick them in your bag to keep up with them. So they might stick out the bag, and that's okay. But once you're done and they dry, put them in your bag so you have all your art stuff together. Got it? All of your art stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.